Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today we are going to discuss about auditor's liability. What is the auditor's liability? Auditor's liability is the amount of money auditor may pay, amount of money auditor may pay, or penalty auditor may get by breaching country's laws and regulation and or doing the audit negligently. So auditor's liability arises from auditors either breaching the country's laws and regulation or performing the audit negligently. So that is simply the auditor's liability. There are two types of auditor's liability. One are auditor's liability which are caused by breaking laws and regulation. These liabilities are called criminal liabilities. They are called criminal liabilities because auditor does not follow the country's laws and regulation. For example, when an auditor is charged with inside trading, some countries outlaw inside trading. Therefore, when you are caught doing inside trading, you are you may suffer criminal liability. Criminal liability may be either penalty in terms of paying fines, or penalty in terms of being imprisoned in jail. So those are criminal liability. So simply speaking, criminal liability comes from breaking the country's laws and regulation. So the government sue you, and you may be charged with either paying fine or going to jail. The second type of auditor's liability is civil liability. Civil liability comes from causing a loss to an individual or company due to performing the audit negligently. So when you perform audit without following the standards or without having a required competence to do so, you can perform civil liability. Civil liability are divided into two parts. Civil liability which comes from contract law of contract, and civil liability which comes from law of tort, because law of tort. Civil liability which comes from law of contract are the one which arises from breaking the contract which you have entered with those you are working with. For example, auditor as a contract with a company and shareholders to perform the audit and give out his opinion. So when the auditor does not perform the work according to the contract which he has entered with auditors, according to engagement letter, he breaches the contract with the shareholders or company, and the shareholders and the company may sue the auditor, and they may be paid the money for the damage caused by breaching the contract, and that is civil law which caused by law of contract. In case of tort, this arises when the third party, which auditor has no contract with, sue the auditor for causing the loss to that third party, and the auditor pay the money for that. So civil liability arises from performing the work negligently, and may come from law of contract or law of tort. In order for a person or a company to sue auditor and to successfully sue auditor in civil liability and win, he must make sure that the case he brings to the court fulfill the following four conditions. First, the auditor must perform the work negligently. So to win in the case in which in civil case against the auditor, you must prove that the auditor performed the work negligently. Second, you must prove that you have suffered the loss due to the auditor's negligence. Not due to any other reason, but due to auditor's negligence. So you must prove first that the auditor did the work negligently, and second, that you have suffered the loss due to auditor's negligence. Third, you must prove the proximity to the auditor, that the auditor knew that you were going to use the audited financial statement when he was performing the audit. So this is called proximity. You must prove that you and the auditor knew about you when he was performing the audit. And fourth, the loss you have suffered must be financial. If a person can prove these four conditions in the court, he may win against the auditor in civil liability and get paid by the auditor. Get paid by the auditor to compensate for his loss. So these are four conditions which must be proven in the court for a person to win against the auditor in civil liability, in a civil case. Auditor's liability may cause the auditor to lose the audit firm, because in many cases it may come in large sum which auditor cannot pay. Also, audit liability may tarnish the image of auditing professional. So auditor must be careful to manage to perform his work well, and he must make sure that he take measures to minimize auditor's liability. The following are ways which auditor can use to minimize auditor's liability. First, in order to minimize auditor's liability, auditor must perform his work by following standard, code of ethics, and laws and regulation. This is the first measure which auditor can take to make sure that he minimize the auditor's liability. So the first step, he must make sure he perform high quality audit by following standard, code of ethics, and the laws and regulation governing his auditing engagement. Second, auditor should use disclaimer in the audit report. This is important because if you don't put the disclaimer in the report, other people will think that you know about them. You know that they are going to use the audit report. So when you put the disclaimer in your audit report, it means that you do not expect them to use your report as an auditor. So this using of disclaimer may be important, especially in the UK, where there was a case in which auditor the case was decided that auditor should pay, because one of the reasons why he was found guilty is because he did not put the disclaimer in his report. The third method which auditor may use to limit the auditor's liability is forming limited liability partnership. In a limited liability partnership, the loss to the auditor is limited to the asset of partnership, and it does not go to the personal asset of partners. Number 4, in order to limit auditor's liability, auditor should take professional indemnity insurance. This may help in case of liability. Auditor may just ask insurance companies to pay on his behalf, but the downside is that he must pay the premium every month to make sure that the insurance is okay. The fifth way auditor may minimize auditor's liability is by government putting the cap on the amount auditor may pay in case of auditor's liability. So in some countries, For example, Germany, Australia, the government have instituted or have put into the press the cap or the top amount which auditor may pay in case of liabilities. So in short, this what is auditor's liability, types of auditor's liability, and the ways one can use to minimize auditor's liability. Thank you for listening. Until next time, bye bye.